AskReddit by heart-shaped womb. What do you think the biggest mistakes parents make without realizing it? Overindulgence. To the point the children develop a sense of entitlement. I see so many parents claiming they don't know what to do with their out-of-control kid. Meanwhile they have the newest phones, sneakers, fresh hair and nails for the girls, every gaming system, dirt bike, quad, whatever toy. You can't buy love. If your kid is a shit, don't buy them everything to try to get them to be better. Try being a parent, not a credit line. Going too far into protecting your kids from the big bad world that they are incapable of looking after themselves in adulthood. And the reverse as well. My dad believed since the real world wouldn't be kind, neither would he. To the point that we were never treated as children. We were fully formed adults in his eyes. Not actively listening to their child, making them feel unimportant and damaging their emotions with feelings of neglect. Can confirm, parents did this to me. Also never really heard the phrase "I am proud of you" until after I graduated middle school with honors. Didn't really hear "you're doing the right thing" or "you're making a good decision" until after 18. As a teacher, not letting their kids struggle. We learn in the struggle. Kids decide after a few minutes of trying that it's too hard and won't do it. It's frustrating as an educator. Well, thanks to ChatGPT, students don't even have to do that. Acting like they are God. Teach your kids that while you are their parent guardian, you're also human. You and your kid both have the ability to make mistakes, and they will happen. If you always act like you're better than your kid, they will never talk to you about anything. Oh brother. That's my dad 101. He can do practically anything with researching little bit beforehand. AMD good for my mom. At the same time it's shitty for me because if we have together project, you bet my opinion will dismissed like nothing else or just pitched aside because this is complex thing to do, and there goes my learning something new. Not apologizing and pretending they didn't make mistakes in consequence. Also, thinking that apology makes up for those mistakes. It's all in the past, and we can all move forward now. No, mistakes have consequences. People give me grief for this, but I think using chores as punishment is a great formula to raise a slob. Chores should be portrayed as a part of life. They are what you do to maintain a clean living space, maintain your stuff, and ultimately make things easier. Having negativity built into them will make them be avoided. Same for paying for regular chores. Paying for big chores like cleaning a garage, sure, but not for putting dishes away. Over criticize. Not apologizing for their shortcomings. I have no doubt that my parents love me in their own way, but a lot of my childhood was spent learning that I wasn't worth effort. I learned to stop asking to go to after-school clubs, for example, because it was too much effort to pick me up an hour later. I'm still trying to undo it, but the idea that I'm not worth people's time or effort is deeply rooted. I didn't have that problem with after-school activities, but with school itself. Throughout middle high school, we had more and more assignments that required a computer and internet because it was 2005 to 2012, but my mom didn't get it, so we never had a computer or internet. No big deal, the teacher said, because I could use the school library before or after school. No, that was a pretty big deal. Mom wouldn't take me early or pick me up late because she didn't get why I couldn't just finish all my homework in class. Couldn't walk myself either. She'd scream at me and beat my ass because I could be raped out there. Ended up failing several classes, got screamed at and beat for that too due to her not letting me work on assignments that were a major part of my grade. Told the teachers the truth, and even the ones I thought were cool acted like I told them the dog. Not setting and sticking to structure and discipline. Also the flip side, too much structure and discipline. Parentifying their eldest child. This a 100 times. Eldest children are raised in the beginning with parents scared and anxious. Ergo they learn that the natural reaction to the world is to be scared and anxious. Ergo most eldest children grow up to be anxious. Listen to their kids' needs, instead of projecting on their kids what they want to see as a parent. Kids are their own people and it's your job to guide them, not mold them. I once read it as parents are gardeners, not sculptors, which I think is a good way of looking at it. Making your kids feel as if they owe you something after they are grown up and you get old. Your kids don't owe you anything. You owe it to yourself to take care of yourself, not leave everything to them. Reminds me of a, paraphrased, exchange my husband and I have with his mother what seems to be every few months. Someone, probably a kid of a friend or maybe just some rando on TV, kids don't owe their parents anything. My mother and I were turning dramatically to my husband, you don't believe that, do you? My husband, not taking the bait. Me, taking the bait, and you believe he does owe you? Mill, well, yeah, I'm his mother. Thinking that giving their children whatever they want will automatically make them grateful later in life. My mom had a bad habit of buying me anything I even briefly showed interest in, like a brief "oh that's kinda cool" I'd forget about in 5 minutes, then getting pissed at me for not playing with whatever toy or wearing whatever clothing item enough because sorry but I have all those other toys and clothes too. I'd be more grateful if it wasn't all obviously her just trying to look like a good successful mother. Not apologizing to their children after they are in the wrong. Nobody really apologized to me when I was younger, so the smallest mistake I'm all "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it." My boyfriend's parents usually apologize, and when I do my "I'm so sorry" they are just like "TF you mean, you're fine, it's my fault." Laughing at their dreams and aspirations. Going further by saying "why would you ever want to do that?" exclamation point. That's just stupid. Not realizing who their child is actually growing into. You can shape your child so profoundly, but it requires you to be incredibly active. If you just let them develop blindly, you can end up with big problems. 1. They want to be the cool parent to their kids, i.e. friends. 2. They put themselves before their kids. My fiancée never heard the words "I love you" from her dad, and it fucked her up. She tells me that she knows he loved her, as his actions showed her, but he never said it once in over 80 years. She says it to her kids all the time now, and knowing this I never ever let a day go by before I remind her that I love her too. Likewise, my father never told me that he loved me. My mother said it for the first time 2 weeks ago. Taking up for the child when the child is lying. Everyone lies at some point. And never teaching the child to take responsibility for their actions. I've run across too many adults, especially males, who are never wrong. This makes no sense to me. My mom outright taught me to lie to get myself, or more importantly, her, out of trouble. Feo. Refusing to explain things like sex, drugs, touchy socio-political issues to them. They will get their information from somewhere else and it may not be as reliable of a source. Lack of consistency. Forgetting what it's like to be a kid. You lose perspective that way. I don't care who started it, because I said so. I'm older and wiser. Because I said so really gets me. I heard that up until 10ish. IDKY they never explained themselves. You want your kids to be smart and have good reasoning in order to stick up for themselves and not follow blindly, but then constantly dictate things without giving any reason while expecting them to follow blindly. Parents acting like your best friend and not your parent. My mom has disappointed me for many years for not stepping up as a mother figure. She had me as a teenager, and she still acts like one. I realize that in order to keep the relationship I have with her, I can never ever expect her to show up for me as a mom, but I can expect her to show up as my friend. Obviously therapy helped me get to this point, but it damaged me for many years expecting her to one day fill the mom role. We have a much better relationship now that I have accepted she will never fill the role. I do my best to accept her as she is and what it must have been like to have a child so young and alone. That they shouldn't have a kid.